Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I appreciate all of you who took the time to watch my video about June being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I appreciate all of you who had a story to share. The comments that I got on it were short but impactful, and I want you all to know that I'm very proud of you for continuing to fight for your own health. And don't let anyone say anything negative to you about it. But now it's time for us to get back to the Signature Arcana Spotlight Series, and we need to choose now between Earth or Lightning. So first, let's roll for our soundtrack choice for today. Alright, we're doing classics. And now let's roll to see if we're doing Earth or Lightning. So let's say odd number will be Earth, even number will be Lightning. And we get odd numbers, so I guess we're doing Earth. Alright, so what will the first Arcana be on the Signature Arcana Spotlight Series for Earth? There's a lot of these that I find to be interesting or whatever. Like, a lot of these, I think, are particularly strong. Like, some especially more so than others, let's be fair. I think the best place to start is with this. Now, this is a really interesting Arcana. In that, it was not what someone would think of when they think Signature Arcana, because this is almost very clearly just like, oh, this is a big old control Arcana. Like, first of all, someone clearly got this idea after playing Cabal in Mortal Kombat 3. But secondly, you'll notice it doesn't exactly do the biggest, like, crap loads of damage or anything. And this is with, what is this, like a 17% increase in damage? Each hit's still only doing 4? So it kind of brings up this idea of, okay, how exactly is that going to work as a signature? Well, like this. Now, if you're thinking each hit doing 6 is a little on the underwhelming side, in that it still seems like it's kind of like essentially the exact same, use cases and everything, well, you'd be right. And that's why I'm doing this one first, because this feels really underwhelming to me. This one always has. Okay, I tell a lie. It didn't used to feel underwhelming. At some point or another, I looked at this Arcana and said, oh, this is my favorite. And then I started experimenting more. So I want to make it very clear that I do not hate this Arcana. Not even by a long shot. I just think it's really underwhelming. So, let's go ahead and grab ourselves some spells to work with, as, you're supposed to in this game. Ooh, pardon me. So, what do I want to use? Flurry. I guess there's some pretty decent options when it comes to missile ranged attacks that I can use for a critical hit style build. Now, I kind of like this idea because it gives me something that recharges quickly. I just want to use something a little different. I just hope it doesn't end up backfiring on me. And we get ourselves a lovely little defensive spell, and we're off to the races. So a couple of notes that should be taken into account when using Rock and Roll, and this is either as signature or as just a standard spell. One is that this is typically best used as a control method. So you're not using this to like finish off enemies, you're not using it because it does such gigantic amounts of damage that you can't even believe it. You're using it to control crowds. This is a crowd control spell, which also means that it's not great against bosses. I'm just going to be upfront with that. It is not good against bosses. But if any of you know a way to make it good against bosses, or you have some information about this spell that I either don't have or don't present during this video, then this would definitely be the right time for it. Just leave me a comment, hit me up on my social media, preferably my Discord, and yeah, we can figure this all out together. And because of what we have going on, I think I do want to start with Atlas, but of course I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Now we're good to go. Then we got the twins and then Freya. So this won't be a bad run at all. We just have to... So, as you can now see, the spell does a fine job at crowd control. Smooth. And there's an obvious reason why I chose to go with a primarily critical hit focused build for this. Though I think I might have gotten more out of using the Hope Robe, but oh well. Okay, so what do we have here? Spiral Rumblers, even more crowd control. My goodness. Alright, let's wait and see who our red portal vendor is. Now, probably one of the greatest contributions that Rock and Roll makes is that it's got long range. And very long-lasting hitboxes. Like, this spell stays active for a pretty decent amount of time even after it hits your target. Which is part of the reason why it's so good at just holding enemies back. Right, I want this, and I might as well grab that. But it's also one of those spells that easily gets stuck in walls if you cast it in a narrow corridor. But with it having five buzzsaws just going side by side, it's really easy to line up attacks and get your proper shots off. And the idea that it's a rather long-lasting spell also means that it's really easy to catch enemies with it that weren't hit initially by it. So I'm certainly not saying this spell doesn't have enough positives to be used, but I do find it to be a rather underwhelming signature. So do I take the glass cannon or the luxury handbag? Neither one is a bad option. I think I'll end up getting more out of the glass cannon, though, so we grab that. Plus, it also doesn't require that my Arcana be upgraded before I get the damage bonus. And let's grab this. And a nice little freebie there. Ooh! It's all working out so nicely. I love it. I love it so much. So, Rock and Roll is one of those spells that, even though I'm not necessarily in love with it anymore, was one of my favorite spells when I first started playing this game, because I just found the idea to be so interesting. Like, who doesn't love big old buzzsaws? And let's be fair, I still like that idea now. Like, when I first saw it, and kind of like how I mentioned just a little earlier in this video, it got me thinking about Mortal Kombat. And as much as Mortal Kombat is kind of losing people today, and that's partially because of WB's greed and partially for, you know, the whole modern audiences thing, I think it was definitely a cornerstone of the fighting game community for a long time. And, you know, opinions on Mortal Kombat 1 aside, the series has been very influential, not just for fighting games, but for video games in general. But we aren't here to, you know, suck Mortal Kombat's Johnson. We are here to discuss Wizard of Legend. This is serious business, goddammit. So, getting more to the point of what I'm getting at. The reason why Rock and Roll really caught my attention is it not only reminded me of the character of Cabal, who is one of my favorites back in the Mortal Kombat 3 era, but it also reminded me of the Pit 3 stage. Which, of course, if you guys have played it or remember, and had saws at the bottom instead of either spikes or just a big stone floor that you smash your everything against when you get knocked into it. So that is why when I first saw Rock and Roll, I was like, it's Mortal Kombat, the Arcana. And it just made me unreasonably happy at the time. Like, nowadays, of course, well, as I've already stated, the idea of Mortal Kombat is really iffy for people nowadays. Which, you know, is almost entirely thanks to WB and their poor decision-making. Alright, I'm going to avoid Rock Solid Tomahawk. Beautiful. I mean, it's not a great spell, but hold on to it for now. But that there is now what you just witnessed is one of the downsides to this spell, is that it can get caught on things that aren't necessarily your target. So if there's a lot of enemies around, your saw might get caught up on an enemy that isn't necessarily something that you were looking to hit. Ball lightning, no thanks. Actually, maybe I will take ball lightning. That was stupid of me. Here's the boss chamber, but we're not done yet. There's still more to find, so let's go find it. What about you, Darksage? What are you finding? A reason for my existence! Don't worry, that was just dark humor. Alright, oh hey, we can finally level this up. I don't necessarily want to drag enemies closer to me with this build, and everything else is just kind of whatever. But we definitely grabbed that, we definitely grabbed that. I'm gonna not take that, actually. We'll just move on. Owie. You and your spark array, you dicks. Alright. So in case you're wondering what happened there, the big mistake I made there was trying to dash through a group of enemies. I had no reason to do that. I should have just done what I was doing the entire round up until then, and kiting them back towards a more defensible position, but that is what happens when you get hit with hubris, is you don't make smart decisions because you think you don't need to worry about it. So that would be my next lesson to you, is keep your overconfidence in check. So since right now my strength is in crowd control, the entire idea behind this run is to just make sure that all enemies are bunched together so I can just keep hitting them with the saws, with the fractal flare. And then against bosses, I've got ball lightning to strike hard and true. He said hard. Oh yeah, did I also mention that this spell has strangely narrow hitboxes despite how many saws spawn? Like, that is not a common occurrence where you'll see enemies like hug up against a wall and manage to narrowly avoid getting buzzsawed. That is something that just kind of happened as a fluke. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, there's still nothing here I really want. They keep offering me rock-solid Tomahawk. I'm wondering if I shouldn't take it. Do I like it more or less than the Flame Seekers? Like, I don't really have a strong opinion of rock-solid Tomahawk. And it's coming up as one of these signatures we're going to be looking at, so I guess I'll have to come up with an opinion on it one way or another. Uh-oh. I'm being alarmed. For those of you wondering, yes, I am wearing a a CGM. Not that any of you exactly know what that is, or any of you are going, oh, I bet I know what that noise was. I'm bringing it up for means of transparency. I am diabetic, and this is about the most convenient way I can be checking my glucose numbers. And I did just eat, so my numbers are a little high right now. No, thank you. Yes, that's one of the stupidest dashes in the entire game. There we go. I mean, there's the rock-solid tomahawk upgrade. I think I'll wait on that, though, until I know whether we're talking to Dr. Song or not. It works out real nicely when you have a bunch of ranged attacks that you can kite enemies with. Ice archers. If you're anything like me, you will say the same thing to ice archers that I do when I see them, which is to go suck a bag of dicks. On a friendlier note, I certainly hope that you're all having a wonderful, beautiful day today, and I know I'll say that at the end too, but it's important. I want to make sure that you guys know that I do care about your well-being, and I hope you're all doing fantastically. It's part of why I made the video about Men's Mental Health Month, but just in general, I want you guys to know that I do think about my audience, even if sometimes it doesn't seem like I do. Like, I know I say this every time I go to make a video on blasphemous, but, you know, I find myself halting making content on that game because it doesn't seem like anyone's watching it. Which, the reason why I keep halting doing videos on that is because if no one's watching it, I kind of feel like, well, they're not interested. So I don't want to waste anyone's time with something that they're not interested in. At the same time, I really love that game, and I want to keep playing it, so I don't know, maybe I shouldn't care so much. Oh, beautiful. Alright, we just got a lot stronger because of that floor, and that makes me very happy. Oh, derp. Don't worry, I'll protect you with my chainsaw, which I will now throw directly at your face. Because I'm protecting you. Now, some of you might have noticed that I haven't really spoken much about dash canceling this particular Arcana. That is because the cast is relatively quick. Like, it's one of the great benefits of this spell is that its casting time isn't such, or I guess its effect isn't such that you really need to worry about needing to dash cancel it because it comes out super quick. Nah, nothing here I need. Ow. See, that was, again, hubris. I saw him jumping at me, but I was like, I can take out this ghoul and still dodge in time. Then afterwards, my brain said, no, you miscalculated that, sir. By the way, that right there is one of the big reasons why I don't like using ball lightning. Very little in the way of crowd control. It's like, yeah, it hits one enemy really hard, but that's also about all it does. Oh, hello. And yeah, we don't need anything from Nocturne, so let's move on. A little disappointed that I didn't get more in the way of... Okay, that was just me not recalculating for the knockback of the spell. We in the industry have a word for that. We call it an oops. Ugh. That was not cool. There we go. No thank you, Dragon Surge. You can just stay right where you are. Some of the negative effects of having this spell doing what it does is that sometimes you just can't avoid the idea that sometimes enemies will dash out of its area effect while they're being hit by it. You saw that during the Strafe Archer fight. Yeah, not much I can do about that, aside from hey, he's really into the idea of these null flash agents. It's like, how dare I come into this fight with a Seeker? And there we go. Not a bad victory for Rock and Roll, and I come to realize now that perhaps the reason why I started having an issue with Rock and Roll is because I was really focused on how much damage it was doing instead of how much it was controlling the battlefield. I also realized that this run was particularly strong, so that might be skewing my essentially redemption arc. But you know what? I'll let you guys discuss that. Feel free to let me know in the comments or on my social media what your feelings are about that. And of course, I want to make sure that you guys know that I appreciate you coming and spending some of your free time here with me today. It really does mean a lot to me, and hey, let's all just have some fun celebrating the kicking off of the Earth element of the Signature Arcana Spotlight Series. And let's have some fun with it. I hope you guys all are having a beautiful rest of your day after this, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and you take care, everybody.